Dear children, welcome back to the lecture module on wave optics. I am Mercy Matthew, Faculty in Physics, Glasses School. Today, our topic is about interference of light. Interference of light. In the last session, we have discussed the wave nature of light was first proposed by Christian Huygens, and 100 years later, Thomas Young experimentally proved light is a wave. So here we are considering light is a wave and we are imposing or superimposing two or more light waves forming interference of light. Some of you maybe noticed these phenomena. The light reflected from a film of foil floating on water, or the beautiful colors reflected from soap bubbles when it is illuminated by artificial light or white light. The reason behind this property was interference of light. And the basic principle behind the interference of light is superposition principle. Superposition principle means if two or more waves that are combined together, then the resultant displacement is the vector sum of those two displacements. And if the vector sum we are taking, we are either getting maximum amplitude or getting minimum amplitude. Where we are getting maximum amplitude, we are saying like constructive interference is taking place there. And where we are getting minimum amplitude, we will say destructive interference is taking place there. So, superposition principle can be defined as when two or more light waves interfere in a medium, then the resultant displacement at any point in the medium is the vector sum of the displacement of the individual waves. We will come to this after a time. Consider two waves. Let A1 be the amplitude of this wave and A2 be the amplitude of this wave. So they are in phase because the crest of this wave is same to the crest of this wave and trough of this wave is same to the trough of this wave, and when they are superimposed or interfere, we will get a pattern like this, and the amplitude of this wave is the vector sum of the amplitude of these two waves. And here A is the amplitude is shown, and the capital A, the amplitude of the resultant wave, that is equal to the amplitude of these two waves, that is A1 plus A2. We will get the capital A is equal to A1 plus A2 for constructive interference. But for destructive interference, we are considering two waves that are out of phase. That means the crest of the one wave falls on the trough of the other wave. In this case, we are getting a pattern like this. Here, we are considering the amplitude of these waves are equal. A1 and A2 are equal. Then we will get a pattern like this. Or we can write for destructive interference, the amplitude of the resultant wave that is equal to A1 minus A2. And coming to the intensity of the wave is proportional to the square of the amplitude. Amplitude square or square of the amplitude. It is proportional to the square of the amplitude. If you are considering A1 that is equal to A2 that is equal to A, then according to constructive interference, the resultant amplitude is A1 plus A2. So A1 and A2 are A, then it is 2A. The intensity is proportional to square of the amplitude. So we will get the maximum intensity or the constructive interference. The intensity is 4 into A squared. And for considering destructive interference or minimum intensity, we are considering capital A. The resultant amplitude is equal to A1 minus A2, that equal to 0. That means the intensity is proportional to the square of the amplitude, that means it equal to 0. So that the intensity maximum is 4A squared and the intensity minimum is 0. And we are comparing the maximum and minimum intensities. Then Amax, we know it's A1 plus A2 the whole squared because intensity is proportional to A squared or amplitude squared. If two waves having amplitude A1 and A2, then the resultant amplitude is A1 plus A2. Therefore, we are taking A1 plus A2 the whole squared, and I minimum, that is equal to A1 minus A2 the whole squared. Here we are taking A2 as common, A1 by A2 plus 1 and A1 by A2 minus 1, cancelling that A2's. We are getting A1 by A2 plus 1 the whole squared divided by A1 by A2 minus 1 the whole squared. We are taking this A1 and A2 as R. Substituting this R in this case, we will get an equation like I max upon I minimum is equal to R plus 1 the whole square divided by R minus 1 the whole square. And another relation, it's a connecting intensity, amplitude and the width of the slit. We will see it later. I1 by I2, that is equal to A1 squared by A2 squared, that is equal to W1 by W2. This may be helpful in solving numerical problems. And these are the equations. Then, have you noticed any difference between this coherent light and this LED light? The coherent light which produces unidirectional light, but this LED light, it produces light in all directions, so it's omnidirectional. In this case, it's having same wavelength, so that same frequency, but here the wavelength is different, so that the frequency is different. And considering the phase, they having same phase because the crest of one wave falls on the crest of the other wave, but here they are not in phase, so that the condition for interference is the sources must be coherent. That means the sources of light which is used for producing interference must be a sources which produce light having same wavelength, same frequency and of same phase or constant phase difference. We will see this. A coherent source is a source of light which emit continuous light bursts of same wavelength, same frequency and they are in same phase or have constant phase difference. And how we produce these coherent sources? Using two methods we can able to produce coherent sources either by division of wavefronts. A wavefront can be divided into subparts that we used in Young's double slit experiment. We will see in the next section. And division of amplitude. The amplitude is divided by using reflection or refraction methods. These two methods we are making coherent sources. So coherent sources is important for producing interference. And coming to condition for sustained interference pattern. What do you mean by sustained interference pattern? It's a permanent pattern. It means a permanent pattern of the position of maxima and minima of intensity remain constant. That is sustained interference pattern. And what are the conditions for occurring sustained interference pattern? First one is the source must be monochromatic. Monochromatic means it emits only single wavelength. So white light is not monochromatic because it emits different wavelength of light. So it's not monochromatic. Only single wavelength light can be used as monochromatic. Maybe lasers can be used as monochromatic because they are producing a single wavelength light. And second condition is the source must be coherent. Coherent we already explained. And then the amplitudes of the waves should be equal. Then the two sources must be very close to each other. These are the different conditions for producing sustained interference pattern. And now we are going to see the mathematical step behind constructive and destructive interference. We are considering two waves. Y1 is equal to A1 sin omega t, where Y1 is the displacement of the first wave, A1 its amplitude, omega its angular frequency, and Y2 is equal to A2 sin omega t plus phi. Similarly, Y2 is the displacement of the second wave, A2 its amplitude, omega is angular frequency and phi is the phase. And according to superposition principle, the two waves superimpose, then the resultant displacement is the vector sum of these two individual displacements. So that the resultant displacement capital Y, that is equal to y1 plus y2. So y1 equal to a1 sin omega t plus y2 equal to a2 sin omega t plus phi. Similarly, we can write sin a plus b equal to sin a cos b plus sin b cos a. So we can write sin a sin omega t cos b cos phi, then sin b sin phi cos omega t. We will get an equation like this. And from these two equations, a1 sin omega t plus a2 multiplying inside a2 sin omega t cos phi. From these two terms, we are taking sin omega t as common and we will get a term a1 plus a2 cos phi sin omega t. Then the second term a2 multiplied inside a2 sin phi cos omega t. And the resultant amplitude we will get in this manner. Then we are considering the resultant displacement is this, and we are considering this term a1 plus a2 cos phi that equal to a cos theta and a2 sin phi that equal to a sin theta. Substituting these equations in this equation number 2 or substituting equation 3 in equation number 2, then we will get, for this a1 plus a2 cos phi we are substituting a cos theta, then sin omega t itself. Then for a2 sin phi we are substituting a sin theta, then cos omega t. So this is again sin a cos b plus sin b cos a, that is sin a plus b. We can write a sin omega t plus theta. This is the resultant displacement. This is the resultant displacement. Y is the resultant displacement that equal to a sin omega t plus theta, and where a represents the amplitude of the resultant wave and theta represents the phase of the two waves. And we already said that this a represents the amplitude of the wave. Therefore, this a can be calculated from these two equations. From these two equations, we can calculate this amplitude of the resultant wave. The amplitude of the resultant wave is calculated by, from these two equations as squaring and adding of LHS and RHS of these two equations. We are getting this squared plus this squared equal to this squared plus this squared. That means a1 plus a2 cos phi the whole squared plus a2 sin phi the whole squared is equal to a squared cos squared theta plus a squared sin squared theta. From elaborating this, this is a plus b the whole squared, that means a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Similarly, a1 squared plus 2a1 a2 cos phi plus this term b for b, this term is a2 cos phi the whole squared plus a2 sin phi the whole squared plus similarly this way. And from cos squared theta plus sin squared theta we know that it's 1. And from this equation, the a2 cos squared phi, a2 squared cos squared phi plus a2 squared sin squared phi, from these two terms we are taking a2 squared as common and we can write a1 squared plus 2a1 a2 cos phi plus a2 squared into cos squared phi plus sin squared phi equal to a squared cos squared theta plus sin squared theta. So a1 squared plus 2a1 a2 cos phi, this sin squared cos squared theta plus cos squared phi plus sin squared phi equal to 1. Therefore a2 squared here only, then equal to a squared. And from the phase angle, phi equal to tan inverse a2 sin phi divided by a1 plus a2 cos phi. And this a represents the amplitude of the resultant wave or the amplitude of the resultant wave. And the amplitude is, here a squared we are getting and for A, it is the square root of A1 squared plus 2A1 A2 cos phi plus A2 squared. And from calculating intensity, intensity is proportional to amplitude squared. Therefore, we can simply write it's A1 squared plus 2A1 A2 cos phi plus A2 the whole squared. And in terms of intensity, we are writing for intensity of the first wave I1, because we are writing I1 as I1 is proportional to A1 squared, I2 is proportional to A2 squared, and I1 root of I1 is proportional to A1, root of I2 is proportional to A2. So intensity equation become I1 plus root 2 into root of I1 into root of I2 cos phi plus I2. This represents an interference equation. And using the cos phi term, we are explaining whether it is constructive interference or destructive interference. And from the equations, intensity is proportional to A squared and I1 plus 2 root of I1 root of I2 cos phi plus I2. This is the equations. And we are finding the intensity maximum and intensity minimum. Then if you are considering A1 equal to A2, that is the amplitude of the two waves are equal, then we can write I1 equal to I2 equal to I0. Substitute this in these equations, we are getting I proportional to I0 plus 2 I0 cos phi plus I0. From these equations, we are getting I0 plus I0, that is 2 I0. Then root of I0 into root of I0 again I0, that is 2 I0 plus 2 I0 cos phi. Intensity is proportional to 2 I0 plus 2 I0 cos phi. And 2 I0 taken common, 2 I0 into 1 plus cos phi. And 1 plus cos phi written as 2 cos squared theta by 2. Here theta corresponds to phi. So we can write 2 I0 into 2 cos squared phi by 2. And this is 2 into 2, 4 I0 cos squared phi by 2. That is, intensity is proportional to 4 I0 cos squared phi by 2. And the maximum value of cos squared phi by 2 is 1. So, intensity maximum we can write it as 4 I0 into 1, that is 4 I0. And the average value of cos squared phi by 2 is the cos squared phi by 2 value changing from 0 to 1. Therefore, the average value is 1 by 2. Substituting in these equations, we will get intensity average is 4 I0 into 1 by 2. That we will get 2 I0. And the intensity minimum, the cos squared phi by 2 function is 0. Then the intensity minimum is 0. So the maximum is 4 I0 and minimum is 0. Then the average value of intensity is 2 I0. Then coming to phase difference and path difference. Consider the figures. This is two slits and the two sources of light, and this is again two sources of light, and the light coming from these two sources reach at a point and a interference is taking place there. Here also we are getting two sources, they are passing to a given point and we are getting an interference whether constructive or destructive. And if you are considering path difference, it is the difference in the distance travelled by two waves from their respective sources to a fixed point. It is the difference in the path travelled by the two waves from their respective sources to a given point. Here two sources, different sources, and the waves are coming and they meet at a point P. But the point P, which is equidistant from S1 and S2, so there is no path, there is no difference in their path. So the path difference is 0 here. So we will get a constructive interference in this point, or we will get a bright spot in this point. But consider here the waves from this S1 and the waves from this S2 interfere at a point P, but from the figure it's look like the waves from S1 travel a more distance than the waves from S2. So there is a path difference between this S1 and S2 because path difference is the difference in distance travelled by the two waves from their sources and they meet at a point. So here there is a path difference and the path difference is calculated by the equation delta is equal to lambda by 2 pi into phase difference. Lambda by 2 pi into phase difference. Look at here. Here the crest of the one wave falls on the trough of the other wave so that it is out of phase, 180 degree phase difference or pi phase difference. So the path difference is calculated as lambda by 2 pi into pi. That means it having a lambda by 2 path difference. Lambda by 2 path difference. And here the blue color represents one wave and the red color represents another wave. And the blue color leads this wave by pi by 2, or we can say that this wave, the red color wave, that lags behind this blue color wave by pi by 2. And we can know that this is pi by 2. There is a phase difference of pi by 2 here. So the path difference here is lambda by 2 pi into pi by 2. That means it having a path difference of lambda by 4. It's having a path difference of lambda by 4. Here it's showing the blue color is Ya sin omega t and the red color is A sin omega t plus pi by 2. That means this red color having a pi by 2 phase difference more than this blue color wave. So this is the difference of phase difference and path difference and it is related by equations. The path difference is equal to lambda by 2 pi into phase difference. Phase difference also calculated from path difference. Phase difference is equal to 2 pi by lambda into path difference. Okay. And we already studied or discussed the interference equation. Interference equation I is equal to I1 plus 2 root of I1 root of I2 cos phi plus I2. And that phase term cos phi represents whether it is constructive or destructive interference. And the maximum value of that cos phi function is plus 1. If the value of cos phi is plus 1, which means the cos phi function is plus 1 when only the term phi is 2 into n pi. The even integral of pi, what are they? 2 equal to 0, pi, 2 equal to 1, 2 pi, 2 is equal to 2, 4 pi. Even integral of 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi, etc. etc. Even multiple of pi, this cos phi becomes 1. So, the phase difference is 2n pi. Then, the corresponding path difference can be calculated by lambda by 2 pi into phase difference or lambda by 2 pi into 2n pi. Dividing this pi and pi 2 and 2, we will get n lambda. The path difference is integral multiple of lambda, we are getting constructive interference. Or the phase difference is 2n pi or path difference is n lambda, we are getting constructive interference. Constructive interference means we are getting an amplitude more than the individual waves. We are getting a resultant wave that having amplitude more than the individual waves. Amplitude of the individual waves. And for destructive interference, that phase term cos phi equal to minus 1 and the value for phi 2n minus 1 pi. That means odd integral of pi. In the constructive interference, even integral of pi. Here odd integral of pi, we are getting cos phi is equal to minus 1 and 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Corresponding path difference can be calculated by lambda by 2 pi into phase difference. Here phase difference is 2n minus 1 into pi. Therefore, we are getting 2n minus 1 lambda by 2. Odd integral of lambda by 2 or odd integral of pi, we are getting destructive interference. In destructive interference, the resultant amplitude is less than that of the vector sum of the individual waves. And coming to the intensity distribution, the constructive and destructive interference is taking place and we plot a graph between the path difference and intensity, we are getting a pattern like this. And the phase for constructive indifference, the phase difference is in even integral of pi and path difference is odd multiple of lambda. For destructive indifferences, the phase difference is odd integral of pi and path difference is odd integral of lambda by 2. So that here we are getting the integral of lambda 1 lambda to n is equal to 1, 2, 3 etc. 1 lambda, 2 lambda, 3 lambda, 4 lambda etc. We are getting 1 lambda, 2 lambda, 3 lambda etc. We are getting constructive indifference, maximum intensity. And maximum intensity we discussed that it is 4I0. And for case 2n minus lambda by 2, odd integral of lambda by 2. This point, and again the negative cases also we are getting destructive indifference. So this is a pattern, indifference pattern of constructive and destructive indifference. The integral of n lambda, integral of lambda, we are getting constructive indifference, and odd integral of lambda by 2 or the integral of lambda by 2, we are getting destructive indifference. And the constructive and destructive indifference, it obeys law of conservation of energy. That is, no energy is created or no destroyed. It's only redistribution of energy. Energy is redistributed. Either constructive to destructive or destructive to constructive takes place. And we are comparing the constructive and destructive indifference once again. For constructive indifference, the maximum intensity is greater than intensities of the individual waves I1 plus I2, where I1 and I2 are the intensities of the individual waves. Where the destructive indifference, the intensity of the resultant wave is less than the resultant intensities of the sum of the intensities of the individual waves. And here the phase difference is equal to 2n pi, here 2n minus 1 pi, and the corresponding path difference is n lambda or even multiple of lambda by 2. N lambda we can write as even multiple of lambda by 2. We are getting constructive indifference, but the corresponding path difference is destructive indifference is odd multiple of lambda by 2, or we can write 2n minus 1 lambda by 2. These are the case of constructive and destructive indifferences. More cases we will consider soon. And the resultant amplitude of the wave, that is equal to the sum of the amplitude of the individual waves. In constructive indifference, capital A, amplitude of the resultant wave equal to A1 plus A2, where A1 and A2 are the amplitude of the individual waves. Here A is equal to A1 minus A2. And the indifference equation we can written for constructive indifference as I1 plus 2 root of I1 plus 2 root I1 root of I2 cos phi plus I2. Here I1 minus 2 root of I1 root of I2 cos phi plus I2. And we can written like this, root of I1 plus root of I2 the whole square. Here root of I1 minus root of I2 the whole square. And here represents two waves. Here this represents one wave and this the dotted line represents another wave. For constructive indifferences, the amplitude of these two waves are superimposed and we are getting a more amplitude. This is the amplitude of the resultant wave. But in this case, this is the outer is the one wave, represents one wave, and the dotted line represents another wave, and this outer surface, the black outer surface represents one wave that having amplitude greater than this dotted, the wave that represented by the dotted lines. So destructive indifference we are getting the amplitude as A1 minus A2. So the middle curve shows the resultant wave that having amplitude less than that of the amplitude of the individual waves, or it's A equal to amplitude of the resultant wave A equal to A1 minus A2. And coming to some numericals about in this in this area. The ratio of maximum and minimum intensities in an interference pattern is 36:1. The ratio of the amplitude of the two interfering waves. The intensities are given, ratio of intensities are given, and we are asking to find the amplitude of the waves. You can directly calculate I max by I minimum. I max we know is A plus B the whole squared, or A1 plus A2 the whole squared by A1 minus A2 the whole squared, or we can substitute A2 as B, A1 A plus B the whole squared by A minus B the whole squared. That it is given as 36/1, its ratio is given. So square root, taking square root in both sides, we will get A plus B by A minus B, that equal to root of 36 is 6/1. So cross multiply, A plus B is equal to 6 into A minus B, or 6A minus 6B. From taking 6A to this side and B to that side, we will get 5A. Or this, rearranging this one, we will get 5A is equal to 7B, or we will get A by B equal to 7 by B, where A by B is the ratio of amplitudes. Amplitude of the first wave, amplitude of the second wave. So we will get the answer as 7:5. The ratio of 7 to 5, or A is to be equal to 7:5. This is one type. And this is also same. Ratio of maximum and minimum intensity is given as 9:1. The intensity of used light. We are asking intensity of used light. Similarly, we are calculating and we are getting A1 by A2, that equal to 2 by 1 we are getting. But here asking intensity of the used light. This is the amplitude we are getting, and we are squaring. Intensity is proportional to amplitude square. So we will square this one and we will get the amplitude. If this is A1 by A2 equal to 2 upon 1, then intensity I1 by I2, that equal to A1 squared by A2 squared. So it's equal to 4 upon 1, or 4:1. And this is another question, last question. The two coherent sources of intensity ratio 2:8 produces an interference pattern. The values of maximum and minimum intensities will be respectively. Some options are given and we have to find the correct answer. And the two coherent sources 2:8 ratio is given. And we know the maximum intensity relation I1 plus I2 plus 2 root of I1 I2 cos phi is equal to 1 here. According maximum case cos phi is equal to 1, so we are neglecting cos phi term. So this question I1 by I2 is given as 2 by 8, that equal to 1 by 4. From this relation I2 is equal to 4 I1. Okay, then I maximum, from this equation we know only this equation. So substituting for I2, we are substituting this 4 I1. So I1 plus 4 I1 plus 2 into, for substituting I2 we are substituting 4 I1. I1 into 4 I1, that is 4 I1 squared. Rearranging this or calculating, we will get 5, 4 plus 1, 5 I1 plus 2 into root of 4 I1 squared is 2 I1, that is 4 I1, and adding this we will get intensity maximum is 9 I1, and I minimum we can calculate I1 plus I2 minus 2 root of I1 I2, and substituting again I2 is equal to 4 I1, and we will get an equation of I minimum equal to I1. Then the correct answer in this is 9 I1. The maximum intensity we obtained as 9 I1 and minimum intensity we obtained as I1. So from these options the correct answer is 9 I1 and I1. This is about the interference and constructive and destructive interference. And next class we will see about the Young's double slit experiment. Okay then, have a nice day. Take care. Bye.